Take courage, get up, he is calling you. In these days when my assistants have been away, I forgot that the time change is next week and not today. So I told all the humanists that the time change was today. And then when I woke up this morning, I was like, what's going on? I was trying to figure out what time it was. So I looked at my watch and I looked at my phone and I was like, trying to figure everything out, and I was still half asleep, and I realized, oh, the time change is next week. Then I started thinking, uh-oh, I wonder what time the brothers are going to wake up. So I went to check at 6:15, and sure enough, they were still asleep. So I turned on the lights, and instead of saying Christ our King, I was going to say, take courage, get up. He's calling you. So I apologize for the mix-up, gentlemen. That's one of the good reasons I have assistants, to keep me on track. So just over 27 years ago, I was a candidate in Canada, novitiate in Canada. And we were coming home from a hike one day, and the couple brothers who were helping with the candidacy came to me and said, there were only 5 of us, said, Brother Timothy, you've been chosen to preach the Holy Hour tonight. I'm like, okay, great. What does that mean? I said, well, you can choose the gospel from the Thursday or next Sunday, and you just talk about it for a few minutes. So this was the gospel that it happened to be. It must have been the Thursday I chose. And I remember I don't remember exactly what I preached about, but the line that struck me a lot was, take courage, get up, Jesus is calling you. About probably, I don't know, a month or two later, it was time for, because Cornwall was very small, so we had reception of the habit and professions together. So we received our habit on, I don't remember what it was, like September 9th or something, and the professions was on September 10th. It was the Saturday closest to the 15th. And so I was chosen. There were, out of the 5 of us, 3 of us decided to enter the novitiate, and I was asked to give the words, kind of like who gave the words this year? It was, there he is, yeah, Brother Luke. So I was Brother Luke 27 years ago. And I remember using this. I was thinking, so they told me just before the ceremony, I was like, okay, what am I going to say? But because I was thinking, we got to go to the novitiate, get to know the novices and everything too, and I was thinking, tomorrow they have professions, and they've been practicing professions. And I thought that was a very appropriate line to say, take courage, stand up, Jesus is calling you. So I was motivating I was thinking, I said other things, but that was one thing. I remember kind of wishing the new novices, or the ones who are about to profess rather, that they would, well, for new novices too, the ones who are receiving our habits, but also the ones who are going to profess, take courage, get up, and Jesus is calling you. So then almost 10 years later, when I was getting ready for my ordination, I was thinking, okay, getting ready to do my ordination card, say, what am I going to put on my ordination card? And so I was thinking of all different Bible verses or, famous quotes from holy people and things like that. And then praying about it one day, I realized, has been kind of my motto since candidacy. So I decided to put this, Mark 10:49. That's the gospel passage I put on my ordination card. And for me, it meant a lot, especially getting ready for ordination, because it's, in a certain sense, similarities to the profession. They call your name, right? Timothy Dennis Giles Walsh. You stand up and you say, present. And whether it be for receiving my habit, or receive for profession, whether it be for ordination, or whatever else it might be, these words have always meant a lot to me, because sometimes when we're faced with the Lord calling us and inviting us to something that's obviously bigger than we are, we can tend to start focusing on our weaknesses and our smallness and our faults. And I don't know if I can do this. I don't know, does God really know about me? Does he know my details? Does he know my sins? But really encouraging, say, take courage, animo. Be of good cheer. Get up. And the motivation is because he is calling you. It's not because you're good or you're strong or you're smart or you're good looking. None of you have most of those things, right? But it's because he is calling you. Jesus is calling you. That's where we find our courage. That's where we find our strength. That's where we find the desire to stand up and to follow him. And the last comment I'll make here is, at the end of this passage, I really like, Jesus says, what do you want me to do for you? And Bartimaeus replies, Domine ut videam. Lord, I want to see. I want to see. I've been blind. I think each one of us can also say that. Lord, I want to see. Domine ut videam. Let me see. And then Jesus says, okay, well, good. Your faith has saved you. Go your way. And right after it says, immediately he received his sight and followed him on the way. So Jesus says, okay, I've healed you. Now go wherever you want. But because he's received his sight, he now knows the way is following Christ. So my exhortation to each one of you this morning in your lives is take courage, get up. Jesus is calling you.